Hey guys, it's me, it's Shannon, it's Sheepless Needles. What is it? It's a vegan podcast, not about being vegan, where we do all sorts of fun stuff. We get to hang out with bunnies and cats and an occasional husband going up and down the stairs. We knit, we game, we read, we just, we do it all. We do it all. Grab yourself a chair, grab yourself a little project that you're working on, a proyak, as we say in my family, and let's get into it. So, disclaimer of the day. There are 6 bunnies behind me. In this little Lathe Petworks bunny condo, we have Harriet and her son Lebo, who you cannot see, they are off camera. And then we have One Ear at the bottom, who is literally right at the edge. Behind us is our geriatric ward. We have Nano, whose butt is looking, you're looking at her little rear. That's Nano. And then that's Harvey in the litter box back here. Harvey has head tilt. He's totally fine. He's just going to look a little odd. He's good to go. His brother Orwell is actually behind this tube. Now, just so you know, both Orwell and Harvey are almost completely blind. So Harvey with his head tilt and being a little bit blind, it's a little something. So anyway, those are the bunnies. So you will get to see them hopefully frolic a little bit. They're winding down. It's a little bit later in the afternoon than I normally record, so who knows what they're going to do. So that was the first order of business. Second order of business would be the beer of choice today. I don't know if I've had this one on stream before or not. This is the Yellow Springs Brewery, my 82 cents. Let me put my glasses on here because I don't have my contacts in. This is Imperial Coffee Stout. It's in collaboration with Rezas, or Rezas, I'm not sure how you say that. Pink Boots brew collaboration. If I'm correct, I think Pink Boots is like women-owned breweries, or brewers, period. And I think Rezas is a coffee, but they don't really tell you anything more on here. It is 9.8%, which is not bad. I think the last podcast was like 11.3. We have one upstairs that's like 16.5. You know. Okay, so cheers. You are very foamy. Oh, here it comes. Let's not foam over. Oh, you guys, how are you doing? How has this 2 weeks been treating you? I am getting more and more frustrated and angry about the world at large, and I don't think we need to get into the particulars of that because I think we all know what's going on. I don't know how to help when there's so many different issues going. I don't know. I just don't know how to help. I'm feeling helpless. So, yeah. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas on how to help in whatever way we can, let's, we're crafters. We can come up with something. I think our craft is also a way of expression, and I have noticed that I'm slowing down a little bit. I don't know. How are you doing? And how is your crafting reflecting how you're doing? 100% foam. There's nothing but foam. But let me tell you something. That's some good taste in foam. I'm not arguing. So, last episode was brought to you by the letter M for menopause. And, I do believe that is going to be the concurrent sponsor of Sheepless Needles for the foreseeable future because, that shit just is not going anywhere. It's been an interesting hormonal 2 weeks. I woke up one morning and I kid you not, half of my face was dry and then the other half, like scaly, like lizard-like. And then the other half was completely like, it looked like I had put a serum on. It was like fresh and glowing. What is happening? I have no idea what's going on. I have decided that I'm going to bleh. I think I've decided I'm drinking this beer. Still 100% foam. Good gravy. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to try to quit eating gluten for a while, not permanently. Like I'm not, I don't have celiacs. I don't even so much think that I have an intolerance to gluten, but I think I have built up a little bit of a sensitivity to it. And I have noticed, and I don't know, are you like me? Let's talk about bread. I can't stop once I start. And it's kind of like cake and cookies. If I get on, like if I bake cookies, all of a sudden I'm baking everything. I'm baking cakes, I'm baking bread. Like I'm doing all of the gluten and then I'm eating all of it. Like there's no, and I don't care because I love it. It's so good. I just can't stop. So what I learned about myself is that I need to rein myself in. And the only way I know how to do that is just to quit cold turkey. That's how I approach most things in my life. So I'm going to try to give up gluten and see if that kind of helps, because I have noticed that when I overload myself with bread-like products, which are very tasty, comforting, and good, I get swelling in my thyroid region, like visible swelling. I have had more than one person stop me in public and tell me, hey, I think you need to go have your thyroid checked. So that's a little alarming, right? So I've had thyroid panels done. And I actually have them done almost once a year. Nothing ever hits. Nothing's abnormal. Levels are just what they are. So once I stop eating gluten, and I've done kind of this similarly before, but just by accident, where I just wasn't in the mood to have anything bread-like. The swelling goes down. The bloating in my body goes down. My muscle tone is different. But I'm also not nearly as hormonal. And I was talking to my sister about it, and she said, well, if it's affecting your thyroid affects your hormone load, and that would make sense. So we are going to see what not eating gluten looks like for me. I will tell you, it's a little depressing. We're not going to discuss that this beer might be wheat-based. I'm going to act like I don't know that, because I literally am not eating any other gluten. Like I'm not having bread. Like we made, there's a really great cookbook, and I will link it because now I can't even remember the name of it, but it's a Tex-Mex cookbook that I just got off of Amazon. It's vegan, and it has these sweet potato, peanut butter, black bean burritos. And I know that sounds like a mouthful. They are so friggin' good. We make them all the time. But Steve bought almond flour tortillas for me. And here's what I will tell you. Were they fabulous tortillas? No, they really weren't. I think they'd be really good if you fried them, as is most things in life are better fried. But it was fine, because for me, the joy of those burritos is the guts of the burrito, not so much, the floury tortilla, or maybe it was, and I'm just trying to talk myself into that. So anyway, I digress. I don't know why I was going off on this tangent, but okay, so I'm trying to give up gluten. Smithers keeps turning on the faucet upstairs and I can hear it. So hang on a second. I'm going to see if Steve will respond to a message, because this is ridiculous. Hey Siri, send a message to Steve.
What do you want to say?
Smithers keeps turning on the faucet and I am not getting up right now. Thank you.
Okay, I'll send this.
Thank you, Siri. Okay, hopefully that'll stop, because Smithers, I don't know if you just heard the cavalcade, but that was Smithers jumping off the counter upstairs. Oh, we're trying to limit his food intake. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You may not know who Smithers is. Two cats, Maggie and Smithers. And this is very unrelated. I don't even watch The Simpsons. So Smithers, I knew him from, he just fits the name. But Maggie is Maggie Moon, having nothing to do with the character from the show. So anyway, doesn't matter. So Smithers is our really, really, really big chunk of a cat who has one eyeball. And then Maggie is our cat that is in renal failure, who's doing actually really well. So, and Steve just came down and turned off the faucet. Thank you. And there he goes back upstairs. So anyway, Smithers is very naughty and we're trying to limit his food intake. And as a result, he's getting more naughty. And what he likes to do, we have a touch faucet in our kitchen, which at the time I thought was the most fabulous idea ever. Cause like you can elbow it, you know, you can do whatever. But he quickly learned he can turn it on and off. And what he will do is if we, you know, he'll turn it on to get our attention and then jump down off the counter really quickly. And then what he has now started doing, which I find even more obnoxious because it tells me he knows exactly what he's doing. I will be doing the frigging dishes and he'll turn it off. He'll hop up and just hit it and he'll look at me. It's like, dude, I told him the other day, and I know he understands because he got up on the counter. I was on the couch upstairs knitting and he got up on the counter and I said, Smithers, if you touch that faucet, you will never have wet food again. And he literally just sat down on the counter and did not go to the faucet at all. I'm telling you, they understand us. I don't care what, you can say I'm a nut job, but it's the truth. So anyway, Smithers, that was Smithers. Ah, beer, hang on. So that's the menopause saga that went into the gluten saga, that went into the Smithers saga. And, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. The other thing I did in relationship to that. And yeah, we'll get into some knitting, but you're just going to have to sit tight. Maybe I'll try to learn how to do chapters on the good old YouTube. I'm not making any promises. I'm not a technical guru. You know, that's Steve's area of expertise, not mine. But so anyway, the other thing about me is that I am allergic to aspirin. And when I say I'm allergic to aspirin, I am like anaphylactic shock allergic to aspirin and all aspirin derivatives. And there's quite a load of derivatives that I'm allergic to, natural and synthetic. And one of the things that I learned that I kind of knew and I put it in my back pocket and then just completely forgot about it and threw in the washing machine and then got it out. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot that was there. Witch hazel. I can't have witch hazel. It is part of like willow bark and birch, which is natural aspirin basically. And I was using a toner, like a spray toner that had witch hazel in it as the first ingredient. And I just caught that, which is why I think like over here, I don't even know if you can see it because the light's kind of blown out down here. Oh my gosh, I was getting this really big red patch. I was like, what is going on with me? So I'm hoping, one, giving up the gluten, getting rid of the witch hazel will help. But then the other thing I did, because listen, I'm going to be straight up. I'm very high maintenance in certain areas of my life, and I'm extraordinarily low maintenance in other areas. I'm a soap and water girl, and that's about it. And like when I say I'm a soap and water girl, if I rarely wear makeup, I wear it for this. You're welcome. So like I wash my face in the morning and that's it. If I wear makeup, I'll wash it at night. I'll take my makeup off and wash it. But other than that, dude, there's not much going on here. So I went ahead and purchased, let me stab myself with my glasses. I went ahead and made an order with Good Molecules. And just so we're clear, I'm not sponsored by anybody except for menopause, right? So this is okay. So Good Molecules is a company. Okay. They're a cruelty-free company. Almost everything they do is vegan. The only thing I found that wasn't vegan is their bar soap for dry skin because it has honey in it. So for me, that's a no-go. For others, whatever you do, you. But the thing I like about Good Molecules is when you actually start looking at their ingredients, it's very simple, very clean, and very inexpensive. Like you can afford this. So I went ahead and they had something called the Hero for Dry Skin Kit. I went ahead and purchased that. That was a little bit expensive. I don't think by any means I would recommend that to everyone, but I'm just having an issue and I need an overhaul. So I went ahead and did that. I started using it today. I really, really have liked it. And again, time will tell. But they put all of their ingredients right on the frigging package. They don't hide anything. Oh, it comes in glass packaging, which you can recycle or reuse. And in my case, I will reuse it. And obviously it's pH balanced. And the thing I really like about this is they kind of tell you, I know that some of us aren't so great about reading directions, but they kind of tell you when you can and cannot use it. So like this is an AM, PM, it gives you the pH level, all of those good things. It's shelf stable for 12 months. And I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, and however you identify, I don't know if you're aware, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to focus on this. I am not. Ooh, come on. This little emblem right there, there's a container and it has this lid open and it says 12M on it. That means 12 months. It's shelf stable for 12 months. Always check your products for their stability, especially when you're talking about more natural products. And this is certainly not like a natural line. I don't want you to get that impression. But if you are using like natural skincare, dudes, it does spoil and you can really mess up your skin if you're putting on like nastiness. So you don't need to be told that, you know that. So I will report back on good molecules, but like I am seriously impressed with everything that they carry and the price point, and that they're vegan. So, and again, just read the ingredients. Like if you go to get bar soap, just be real careful. There's another bar soap that's for like oilier skin, which I do not have. And that may not have honey in it. So, you know, you do you, and that's that. And, you know, speaking of that, like speaking of honey and being vegan and all of that, I was watching someone's podcast and they were talking about whether someone is vegan for the animals or not. And this is just me, and I'm going to put this out there so you understand my perspective and not so much someone else's, because I feel like there are some crazy definitions of veganity out there that I don't quite agree with, but you know, my opinion doesn't matter except in my own realm, right? So for me, if you're vegan, the term vegan already implies that it's for the animals. If you're vegan, it already implies that it's an ethical choice. If you are plant-based, that tells me you're probably dietary, right? And not so much ethical. I don't care either way if someone's an ethical, plant-based, whatever moniker you want to put on it, as long as we're saving some animals, I'm good to go, right? But I do draw the line when I see people on TikTok or other social media who are like, I'm vegan, but I eat egg. You're not vegan. You're a vegetarian. I mean, like, and there's nothing wrong. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that choice, but I don't know why people feel the need to be like, I'm vegan, but I eat honey. I'm vegan, but I have eggs. I'm vegan, but, you know, on the weekend I eat meat. You're not vegan. You're trying to be, and that's 100% awesome. The less meat you eat, I will back you up 100%. But the problem I'm having is it's confusing people. People are now so confused on like, what does it mean to be vegan? At the end of the day, I don't really care what someone calls me. They can call me vegan. They can call me plant-based. They can call me crazy. I'm good with all of that. For me, I am an ethical plant-based eater. I am vegan. I chose to be vegan because it means that I am choosing my ethics over my diet. Okay? That's where I'm at. And I am not saying that that is right for another person. It is just what's right for me. Now, whoa, my beer is out of control. It just hit the mic. I don't know why a Beck song just came through my head. I'll spare you the singing. Take these spectacles off. Okay, so recently somebody had asked me when we were talking about the fact, like the choices that I make, how hard it was to be vegan. And I was like, I don't know why everyone thinks it's hard. It's not hard. And I posed a question to them and they were like, I get it. So I'm going to put this out there. I asked them, do you spank your kids? And she's like, oh, hell no. I was spanked as a kid, and I knew the minute that we had children, I was not going to spank. Now, listen, this is not an argument about spanking pro or con. You do you. I'm not involved in anyone's child rearing. I was spanked, and, and this is what you get. So make your choice. But I asked her, I said, okay, so you're making a choice not to spank your child, right? I said, so tomorrow when you wake up and you don't spank your child, how hard was it not to spank your child? And she kind of looked at me. She's like, I get it. Exactly. When it's an ethical decision, like it is something that you truly believe in, it's not hard or easy. It just is. Like, to me, the choice to be vegan is easier. It is by far easier than any other decisions I make during a day. Like, it is harder to get on the Peloton and ride for 75 minutes than it will ever be to be vegan. It is harder to go outside and run. It is harder, dude, it's harder to talk to my parents than it is to be vegan. Because once you have made that shift and this is what is important to you and this is your belief system, there's nothing hard about it. It just is what it is. And that was the only thing I could relate to her with. And she got it. So in the same frame of reference, like if someone thinks that it's hard, you kind of need to change the box that you're sitting in and think about, why is it hard? Like, why do you think it's hard? At the end of the day, giving up, I don't feel like I've given up anything at all. I think maybe I've given up the capability to filter out morons. I think that when you make the decision to be vegan and you look at the world at large and you see the atrocities that are happening, you no longer have the privilege of ignorance. That's probably the hardest thing. If someone had to ask me what is the hardest thing, that is it. You don't ever turn that off again. Now, that being said, that's not a bad thing. I think knowledge is power. I think silence is complicity. I think we have to act on things, right? To make changes. And I can't and I won't tell someone else how to live their life. But I draw the line when living your life takes the life of another being. I mean, that's crazy. And that's where I'm at. So that is the veganity of the situation. And I just thought it was an interesting conversation to have, because I don't know about you guys, but in my life, I really, like, if I think about it, I don't really have any vegan friends. Steve and I are it. We would be the token vegans. And I think Steve probably gets a lot more shit, or he probably doesn't now, but I think he used to prior to COVID when people found out he was vegan. I think that we are unnecessarily attaching masculinity to meat eating, which I think is to diet in general, which I think is the most bizarre thing, because it's just weird. I don't get it. And I think guys can be complete jackasses to each other when it comes to ethical choices. And I think the reason why people are jackasses is because it's not because of the choices that someone is making. It's the fact that they're confronted with their own choices that they are not making. And it makes them uncomfortable. So be it. If I make people uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but not sorry. Like, if I make someone uncomfortable for a different reason than veganity, then that's a different conversation. But if we're just talking about dietary, me going out to eat and it makes someone uncomfortable, screw you. I don't care. Like, then you don't need to be at my table. And at the end of the day, like, people who care about you when they're concerned with what they're going to order and how you're going to react. And it's those times where you just have to be honest in your reaction. There are days where I can tune it out, and there are days where I can't. And I will literally say, please don't. And they won't. Because we respect each other, and that's just life. So I don't know. Okay, so that's that conversation. I don't know where that came from, but this is Sheepless Needles, vegan podcast, which wasn't supposed to be about being vegan. Hot mess. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about knitting. Just so you know, this is my Christmas Vertices Unite, and I'm not taking it off because I am frozen. Okay, so let's see what whips I have. Oh, there's just shit flying everywhere. Okay, so we started, we're not even going to go there. I will show you really quickly. I don't think I've made much progress at all on my Petra Breakstone soft tea, but we can check because, as you can see, I had to steal the needles. And this came up in we had a knit along this past Sunday. And I have determined that I actually need to buy another, not a set of tips, but I need to get another US 4 and US 5. They are my most frequently used needles. And I keep having to do this. And I'm starting to get annoyed because it's just annoying. So this is where I'm at with the tea. I think I've done literally since the last time you've seen this, I think I did 7 rounds and that's it. I will come back to this, you guys. It is a kit that I bought in case I think I've told you guys this before, but anyway, it's Petra Breakstone yarns to go. It was a kit for a soft tee. I'm still up in the air about the sleeves. Petra posted a picture of herself on, it was her newsletter. I get her newsletter in the email. And it's like a very soft pastel pink, really, really pretty. And it had the sleeves and it looked really cute on her. But I was like, that's not me. And she was like, it's a soft romantic tee. I just want you to take one look at this and be like, the 2 words that don't match me would be soft and romantic. So for those who know, that is not me. Steve always... There's a Skinny Puppy song, and one of the lines is, Exxon Valdez, your black heart makes me sick. And so Steve always was like, yeah, Shannon, your black heart. I was like, yep, that's true. It's me. Checking in. Okay, so that's what I was working on. And then what happened is we had this knit along on Sunday, which was the kickoff for the April knit along. And the April knit along is with the Ravelry group, Vegan Knitters and Crocheters. And I'll link everything in the show notes. But we cast on a shawl on Sunday, and there's no pattern. It's not pattern specific. You pick your own, and and some people are doing sweaters. It doesn't really matter. We're just knitting together, no big deal. No big whoops, as the youngins probably don't say at all anymore now that came out of my mouth. Okay. So I am knitting the Nightshade by Lisa Mutch. I am using Knit Picks Cotlin DK weight yarn. And you guys, I am super stoked about this. Now, I will be honest that I'm going to be a little bit scared to show this to you only because I have a short cord and I can't really stretch this out. And yes, I know I could just replace the cord, but you guys, what would Sheepless Needles be if it wasn't a shit show, right? So it is a 3-color. Oh my God, where is this yarn coming from? And why are you stuck? Knitter's problems. Okay. Yeah. Does this happen to you where you're like trying to figure out your project and like there's just yarn everywhere and you're like, where are you stuck? Get out of my way. Oh my God. Oh my God. Seriously. Oh. You know what that calls for. Good gravy. Look at that cute bunny in that litter box just eating like a good boy. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do here, is not lose the needle. Okay, so this is going to be very difficult. Let me come on this end. Maybe this is better. Okay, so this is really hard to do. Okay, so the first color is the linen color at the bottom. As you can see, that's my cast on string. And then the second color is this kind of, it's called Wallaby, but it's that dark taupe. And then the third color, the final color, is black, right? So you can see where I'm at because I'm in the black section. I will have this done by the end of the week. I just cast this on Sunday. So this is 6 days of knitting. And just so we're clear, I work 40 hours a week and I don't knit during the day. So I don't have a lot of time to knit. So I got this much done. Tells you this is a really, guys, this is a great pattern. Now, I will reserve judgment until it's complete and blocked, because when I went through the Ravelry projects, and I think there's like 42 on Ravelry for this pattern, a lot of people were like, it's not 84 inches. It's literally 72 inches long. That is quite a difference. And I think it has everything to do with A, your yarn choice, and B, your blocking. Because the last line of the pattern is block as you and stretch as you see fit, basically. So, and when you see Lisa wearing it in the photos, it is loosely knit and very stretched in terms of blocking. And I love the way it looks. So this, as you can see, like this is gonna, I can pull this lace work, you know, once I get it pinned down. I mean, I think this is gonna grow exponentially. So I am excited to see that. And we'll see where it goes. The yarn, you guys, run, don't walk to your like little clicker on the internet, however you shop. Cotlin, I love this yarn. I love it. Knit picks, DK weight. I have absolutely no complaints about it. The cool thing about this is that section 1, and I'm using shiitake mushrooms. I don't know what size needle I'm using. Hang on. Okay, I'm using US 8s. The yarn itself, that was a little premature taking those off. Okay, it is Cotlin, DK, Vanna White, DK weight. Okay, so it's 123 yards and 50 grams. Section 1 literally just took 1. So, and I will tell you, when I say literally just took 1, this is what I have left over from that skein. So section 1 is 1, and then section 2 was this color. It took 1 plus this. I have not weighed this, but I'm going to tell you it's probably 1 1/3. And then section 2 is probably going to take 2. So it's not a huge amount of yarn, and I'll weigh everything when I'm done with it and I'll put it in my project on Ravelry. I do try to do that because I think that as vegans, when we change patterns over to yarns that we use, I think it's super helpful when you see someone else using a plant-based fiber to actually see their yardage and what they ended up using versus like a wool yardage, because I think the elasticity and the blocking nature of things completely changes some of the yarn choices and the outcome. So I will always try to be good about putting that stuff in my projects. So if you have any questions, like, you know, if you see something that I knit and you're like, I wonder, you know, if I use acrylic, is it going to be less yarn, or, you know what, just check my project page and then just email me. We'll figure it out. Sheepless Needles, I think it's sheeplessneedles@icloud.com is my email. So, or message me on Ravelry, either one, doesn't matter. Or even Instagram. Look, I'm all over the place. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Ravelry, I'm on the YouTubes. I think we got it covered. So, all right, so I'm knitting on that. I think I'm going to have this done by next weekend for sure. I'm super stoked about it. Ooh, sorry, Mr. Editor. The thing that I really like about this yarn is, first of all, I'm a lover of linen. I really am. And I feel like I have lipstick all over my face. If we're going through this entire podcast and my lipstick is crazy, I'm super sorry. I thought it was be cute to try to like match my hair because I did a little manic panic before I filmed today. So my scalp is probably a beautiful color of unnatural something. Anyway, this is like a color stay lipstick, but I think it's past its prime and it feels real weird. So I feel like it might migrate on my face a little bit. Hey, look, it doesn't matter. If I look, the crazier I look, the better, right? So that is the Nightshade project. I am, again, I cannot tell you how much I love this yarn. It is so soft. I cannot wait to soak it and wash it and just, oh my God, I love it. And okay, so anyway, I was trying to tell you I was a lover of linen before the lipstick thing happened. Okay, so this episode is brought to you by Elle. So yes, linen, you guys. A long time ago, and probably that would be like a year ago, I knit the Kinship Shawl, which was Stephen West and Olga Henriksen, maybe? I'll put it in the show notes. It's a great shawl. I knit it for my mom for Mother's Day, and I used a Lindy chain, which is another Knit Picks yarn, which is linen and something else. I forget what the composition is, but it's a chain spun or chain, I don't know how you say that, yarn. It is a much stiffer linen, crisper linen, I guess is what I would say, which dudes, I love that too. The softness value, I can't tell you how much I love this yarn more than I just did. So, okay, there's that. What's going on? Okay. I think we need to drink. I think we need to drink a little beer. Okay. So, that is what I've been working on, and I kind of backed off my other projects. I'm not going to show it to you because I want it to be a surprise when it's done. I did finish one of the sleeves on my Halloween sweater, and I'm on the second sleeve. And you guys, I've been practicing my color work, and I know I promised I would film myself practicing, but here's the issue. I have to set the rig upstairs and sit at the dining room table when I do that, and I don't knit. I am not a morning knitter. I am a night knitter. So like I work all day, 5 o'clock hits, it is time for what I call bourbon time, but in reality, it means I go upstairs, I do the dishes, I get Maggie, we give her sub-Q fluids because she gets 150 cc's every night. So we give her her sub-Q fluids. I go back upstairs, I knit a little bit, and then we make dinner. I eat my dinner, and then I'm on the couch knitting. Here's the problem. When I think about like, oh, I should set this up to film, then I have to get back up and set the rig up at the dining room table. And at that point, I am so pooped because I go to bed, I kid you not, my old ass is in bed at like 9 to 9:30, out like a light, because I'm up at 5. So when I said I don't have a lot of time for knitting, I really don't. And I've tried to kind of, sometimes if I'm having a really stressful day at work for my lunch, I'll go upstairs and I'll knit for a half an hour, and I'll just set the timer on our Apple HomePod and just be like, let me know when 30 minutes is up, whatever. And I'll just knit for 30 minutes. And then I'll come back and it'll clear my head, and it's kind of like doing a crossword puzzle, right? It just kind of clears the canals, so to speak. But, by the time I'm sitting down and knitting, it's probably 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And I knit for an hour and I read for an hour and then I go to bed. So sometimes I get 2 hours of knitting, sometimes I get 1. If I want to play like a game like Elden Ring or Skyrim or Generation Zero, you name all the games, then I'm taking time away. The thing that I don't ever want to give up is that hour before I go to bed of reading, because one, I firmly believe, and my husband, as you watch this, Steve, I firmly believe that you should not be using electronics the hour before you go to bed. Let your brain calm the hell down. Period. Reading really calms me down. So I love that time. It's really quiet in the house, and I've got a cat in my lap, and just, blankets, and I'm reading. So, oh, hey, what am I? Literature for your knitature. Let's go. Okay, that is I almost called it a category. It's a segment. It's just a repeat segment. Oh. Okay, so I finished The Assassin's Apprentice. That was what you saw last time. I have started Royal Assassin. Look at me, you guys. Look at me reading. Okay. I do recommend this series so far. There are no gratuitous, like, animal things that have, like, freaked me out. I did have a moment. There's something in the first book that made me bawl my eyes out. You might be okay with it. I am uber sensitive to animals in literature. I am to the point that even in animation, it doesn't matter. I can't. So I've been okay so far. Here's the thing. I don't know a lot about Robin Hobb. So once I get more into this, it's her pacing. In the first book, her pacing is pretty even keeled. But you get to this crescendo point, like where there's this big event happening, and it's done in a page and a half. Like, it was like, you blink your eye and it's done. I'm like, okay, we just spent 100 pages on this exposition about yada, yada, yada. And this is a huge event, and it was 4 paragraphs. What? And like, it's just really, that pacing to me is really abrupt. Now, that could be her tool. Her pacing could be her tool. And it could be meant to be jarring. That may be her intent. I'm not saying it's a negative or a positive. It's just something that I've noticed that for me as a reader, I would have preferred the huge event to have the narrative or to have the exposition. And I think what I had talked about last time was that it was a little bit of a slog. And I think that's what I mean. It felt really sloggy because when you had something that was eventful, it was like 4 paragraphs done. It's like, holy shit, what just happened? Did I fall asleep? What? That's it? Yeah, that's how it felt to me. Now, I still recommend it. I'm still enjoying it. I love the character development so far. I like that you hate characters and you love characters. I feel like if an author can make you detest someone in writing, they're doing their job. It's the same way I feel about actors. Like, if you watched Breaking Bad, Walter White's wife, and I can't even remember her name, Skylar? I don't know if I'm right on that or not. Let me know. And it's been a long time since I've watched Breaking Bad. You hate her. Like, she is such a good actress. And she was such a good actress that people were horrible to her in real life, which is atrocious. But that is the mark of talent. So, like, for an author or an actor to make you have that emotional reaction, whether it be I love this person or I detest this person, that is a mark of sheer talent. And I respect that in a way that I probably can't even verbalize. So I recommend it. I'm enjoying it. And yes, I've been keeping up with my reading, and I'm very proud of myself, and I'm going to try to continue that. I feel like it's a positive thing. Cheers to me. Okay, so speaking of reading, I also got an email from I subscribe to PomPom magazine. Now, I so wish that there was a vegan version of PomPom magazine, because, there are days where you're just like, I don't want to hear about sheep. Stop acting like you love sheep. Like, I find nothing more annoying in my world than, you're watching a podcast. They're like, and we visited the farm. And, they're downsizing. I wonder what's going to happen to those sheep. Do you really wonder? It just drives me nuts. And that's why I started this podcast, because it was going to be a place away from that, where like, you don't need to worry about your wool ending up on your dinner plate, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so I really wish there was a vegan version of PomPom. And maybe one day, there's a wonderful woman on our vegan knit nights who, she is a designer. And if I ever get permission from her, and I will ask her, maybe to link some of her patterns or to link information about her, I will. I don't like doing that without telling someone first, because I feel like that's a little weird. But maybe that's where we start, just to be able to thumb through a quality magazine like this, right? Or I don't even think it's like a book. Anyway, I got an email from them that this was available again in physical print, because when I subscribed right after this issue. And this issue is phenomenal. So I will be going through this. You know what? Wait a second. I think the Kinship shawl is in here that I was talking about. It is. Okay. This is the shawl that I did with linen. There we go. Sorry. Oh, blowing out. It was such a fun knit. And I actually did it as a knit along. I don't know if you guys watch non-vegan podcasts or not, but I do. Look at that. Look how fun it is. Look how fun that is. Okay, I did it as Michael from Peace for Peace has a wonderful podcast. I really enjoy him. He is a really he's a dance, I think he's a dance teacher. He has a dance background, which I completely feel at home with. My mom was a dancer. And there's just there's something about the candor and there's something about it that is it feels like home to me. First of all, he's a fabulous knitter. He does wonderful projects, but for his birthday every year, he does a knit along. So last year it was the Kinship shawl, and that's what I did. And I gave it to my mom for Mother's Day, and I used that Lindy chain, yarn. So it was a great project. But anyway, I knew I wanted to get this in physical copy because there were so many beautiful things in this issue. And they're just the color work alone. Like, you guys, come on, right? So I got my PomPom. I need to sit down and take a look at that. There are so many publications that I want to get projects out of. Like I said, I say it every time. There are so many things I want to knit. I'm never going to get through them in my lifetime. Unless I find the secret to immortality, it's just not happening. So I'm sure you guys feel the same way. It's like there's so many great things out there. I really wish, and I guess maybe the way to narrow the field down in terms of choices that we make, maybe in my own life, what I need to do is just look at vegan patterns. And maybe I'll kind of delve into that. I don't like to close off a craft world in that way normally, but I think if it means that I just need to be able to narrow down the field, maybe that's what I need to do temporarily. But we'll see. I don't know a lot of, I don't know any really vegan designers except for the woman that's in our group. So yeah, typically, honestly, I don't know that whether a designer being vegan or not affects the pattern so much. There are obviously some things that as a vegan, we're going to have trouble doing in certain patterns. Steeking would be one of them. And I have never steeked anything, and I don't know that I ever will. And, I think to some degree, color work, there are some issues with, you just don't get the same fabric. It doesn't mean that you don't get a good fabric, but you just don't get the same fabric. And that, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, that's Smithers, you guys. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Hi. You hungry? Is it dinner time? Oh, it's almost dinner time. You're letting me know, aren't you? Yeah, he's letting me know it's almost his dinner time. And you know what I have to say to that? Dude, you woke me up at I don't even want to talk about 3:30 in the morning, knocking my stuff off my nightstand so you can wait. Oh, that's what's going on there. Okay, so yeah, that was the reading, the knitting, gaming. Okay, you guys. Elden Ring. I will have Steve put in footage of me playing. You guys, I'm so bad. I'm so bad at it, but I love it. And it's kind of the way like I feel about well, no, I'm not bad at Skyrim though. I'm actually really good at Skyrim, and I'm really good at Diablo. I'm really technically good anytime you put a gun in my hand in a video game. I'm pretty good. Steve would say I go in blasting, which is true, but I take care of business, right? Elden Ring, on the other hand, it was the same problem I had with Dark Souls, and it's not really a problem, it's just a control issue. I get so I get so surprised by what's going on that I just freeze. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I'll hit a button. I'm like, I don't know what buttons do what anymore. And like literally in a non-stressful situation, I know exactly what buttons to hit. So it is kind of funny that like the dumbest things will kill me. Like when I was playing earlier today, I backed up into a table that had a crossbow on it and it set the crossbow off into my back and it killed me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's so much fun, you guys. I cannot tell you how much of a stress reliever and how fun that game is. And you know, I don't play like when we talk about like online games, or it doesn't matter what type of game it is, I don't play to win. I play to have fun. So for me, with Elden Ring, I think the thing that's so funny is like the simplest thing could be the most complicated thing for me. Like, how am I jumping up on that thing? And like, literally there's a ladder and it takes me 12 years to figure that out. I don't know. I just really, I'm really enjoying it. And I think the thing that's really funny is how ugly my character is. Like, dude, sack of potatoes, like it's a problem. So I want to get my character with some fine garb on. So that's my next thing I'm going to do is try to find some cool garb. And I don't care if it has any like defensive qualities or not. I just want to look good, just like the podcast. So I'll have Steve insert the footage. I hope you guys enjoy it. You know, I think that I enjoy gaming because it is a way to relieve stress. It's a way just to be goofy and silly. It's a way to have fun with other people. And with video games, I know a lot of people are like, it's time you don't get back. You're just wasting time doing nothing. It's like, what do you think life is? We're all dying. You wake up, you're one day closer to death. So like, I don't know what you think you're doing that is so consequential that video games aren't fun. Like, I guess my point being that how you choose to spend your time in leisure is your choice. And I, you know, as a 51-year-old woman who games, who has gamed since she knew how to use a computer, you know, I do hear criticisms of that, and like it just drives me nuts. I think that it is actually a really good way to actually hone hand to visual skills. I think there's some other things that it helps with beyond stress relief. And I think there's some really great games out there. I will say there is a game that I absolutely love that I have not finished, that I need to finish, but it's heavy, and it's called Hellblade. It is such a good game, but it's about a woman, and I don't really want to give it away too much, but she's mentally ill, essentially. Yeah, it's a really heavy game now that I've started talking about it. But when they went to make the game, they actually interviewed and used audio clips from people who heard voices and like what their experience was and what that was like. It's a game you play with headphones. So it's a very audio sensitive game. You guys, it's just incredible. And I think that there is a place for that type of media and that type of entertainment also as a form of expression. And I think that that's something that gets lost when people start talking about streaming games and different games they're playing. You know, yeah, there's shoot 'em up games, but there's also games that make you think. And there are games that have consequences. Mass Effect is a great example of that. I love Mass Effect. But the choices you make affect you later in the Mass Effect series. And I think that, you know, you do have to answer for your actions. And I think games like that, I love them. I love playing them. I don't ever want to ruin them for someone else, so I probably won't go into specifics. But there's a lot of games that I feel like subject matter wise are really spot on. And then there's some games, sometimes you just want to screw around, right? Generation Zero is a great game for that. If you haven't checked it out, it is online. Check it out on Steam. I hope maybe it'll be on the sale. Steve and I had, and we'll continue to have, we just kind of put it down for a while to play Elden Ring. That game is so much fun. Like, and part of the fun of that game is the outfits that you end up wearing. Like, I can't even get into that. But it's basically like robots have taken over the world. It's a robot apocalypse. So it's you against the robots. And you're trying to find other survivors and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, like, there's just, there's safe houses, which are your save points that you go to. Most of them are, if you play Find a Church, it's a safe house. But if you find that church, go play the organ. Oh my God. You know what? We need to do that. I'm going to, Steve, since you're editing this, maybe for the next podcast, let's play Generation Zero so I can play the organ for everyone, because you know how I feel about that. And then we can kill all the guys outside. But it's just fun. It's a good way to release tension and all that stuff. So if you game, I don't care, you know, if you're a girl or a boy or whatever, you do you, and don't let somebody like put you down for that. I'm certainly not, you know, here to do that. There's a grandma who plays Skyrim, and I love her. And I'll tell you what, those stupid idiots who went after her when she was streaming, good God, if I ever meet you, you will get a boot in your friggin' face. And I don't even know how old she is, but they actually, Todd Howard had her put into Skyrim, ESO permanently, or Skyrim permanently. They created an NPC for her. I mean, come on. I'll be doing this until I'm 90, as long as I can use my hands and I can see. And, you know, that's gaming. That's all I got. That's it. Short. It's not going to be a short episode because I have just been blah, 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 as I normally do. So I will continue to knit my shawl. I'll have that done. I am hoping to have a surprise sweater for you guys on next time. We'll see. We'll see how far, we'll see how far I get. Yeah, I don't know. No promises. But, you know, Halloween is every day. And, you know, if you know, you know. Oh, before I forget, you guys, Psychedelic Furs are on tour. And if you have a chance to go check that out, definitely do. I bought tickets. I'm going to Detroit. They are playing in a venue that is literally walking distance from my sister's house. So I'm so stoked about that. So I'm going to go see them. I think that's in July. I'm going to see Tori Amos next month, who I've never seen. So I'm very excited about that. But everybody is touring. I am super bummed out. Rufus Du Sol is touring, but nowhere near me. And I know they're playing in Detroit, and every time I try to go buy tickets, the server is down. So I think it's probably already sold out. If you do not know Rufus Du Sol, I love them. And I would say I would play their music, but YouTube will not allow me to do that for less than, I don't know, maybe we'll put in a little segment. We'll see. But check out your local. What are you guys doing? What are you going out and doing now that you can kind of go out, maybe masked, maybe not? I don't know. What are you doing? Are you going to movies? Are there bands you're seeing? What's happening? What's happening socially for you guys? I want to know. Okay. Smithers is yelling for food. I'm actually really hungry. This beer, you guys, is super good. Highly recommend. Will purchase again if I can, but I feel like this was a one-off, so we may not be able to get it again. All right. What are you going to do? You're going to take care of yourself? Not because I told you to, because you want to, because you love yourself and your self-care is important care. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Love yourself, love one another. You don't need me to tell you that. This world needs an infusion of love right now, like in a major way. In a major way. And if you're feeling the feels in the way that I am here. Message me. I am with you. My heart is breaking. I'm just trying not to concentrate on it. Hi, Hi, Smithers. Yeah. So, I love you. Love one another. And I will see you guys for this wonderful vegan podcast that's not about being vegan, but at the end of the day, it really is. You know, I didn't highlight a vegan this episode. I'm going to highlight myself and you for watching. And if you're not vegan, give it a whirl. What's the worst that can happen? You just save an animal. Oh my God, look at you. Look what you just did. Toodles.